Hi, we're going to talk about one of the tools that I think would be really useful in getting kids to think and look at things in a certain way or in a different way than maybe they are. I'm kind of bringing this term over from my life in recovery and through 12-step programs and stuff like that. But I'm only bringing that because there is a parallel to this in the Bible. There's several scriptures on examining yourself and, counting the cost before you start a project, or, just our eyes being opened and, being able to see why we do the things we do, and getting a better grasp of the effect of that. And so inventory is what we're going to talk about, and I think that it's often a really underused technique, or technically I guess it's kind of a mode of operation, that it's a way of gathering information on where you're at, also looking forward to where you want to go, and how to get there. And one of the things that I really like about this is that, and I really recommend that doing this in a form of writing. For one thing, organizing your thoughts on a level, it's just not as productive as writing it down. Also, I don't know, I can't prove it, and I don't know it to be a fact, but I think it's harder to lie when you write. I think that we tend to expose ourselves the more we write and get to see things that maybe from a little bit different perspective. But a lot of the kids that we're looking at, even saved kids in the church, if we could get them to look at what they're actually after, and if you could organize the things that they're after, that they have their mind and their heart set on, if we looked at all these things and got them to tell us, like, okay, what are you going to do after you leave your parents' house? And so we get, well, I'm going to go to school, and then I want to have a good wife and a good job that makes lots of money, and I want to be happy. And so we have them write these things down, and then we have to look at how these things work together or whether they're in conflict with each other. And I think a lot of times we spend a lot of our time chasing multiple things that are in direct opposition or conflict to each other. And so we create this this paradigm in our minds and our actions that we're doomed for failure, and we're doomed to not get what we're after. And just little examples of this, okay, well, I like to, my favorite question to ask anybody is why. And so let's take school, let's take college here. And if you ask them, okay, well, why do you want to go to college? Well, now you got whether, okay, your parents think that that's the best, or you want to do it for an opportunity to get a better job, or maybe you want to play sports that maybe will lead to a profession in sports or something like that. Okay, so we have this, and then we got to look at the motives behind this. Okay, if you're just doing it to please your parents, then we might want to look at this is happening when you turn 18, so are you basing it just on what your parents expect for you, or are you basing it on something you want for yourself? If it's to get a better job, okay, well, we got the job over here, and you want a job that makes X number of dollars. Then I want to ask, okay, well, why do you feel that you need a job that makes that much money, and what is the cost for that? What is this job going to cost you as far as, okay, say you want to make $100,000 a year. Okay, well, is that going to require so much time and effort on your part that it's going to rob from this good marriage that you want. Okay, you know, if you have this good marriage, are you still going to be able to dedicate and have, you know, from this good marriage, you know, you may want to spend time with your spouse. You also may want to have children. So one of the things I want to look at is that, okay, we want to make $100,000, but we still want to have time, and we still want to have time to spend with our children. Are these in conflict, or is that, you know, realistic or acceptable? You know, so, you know, I want kids to start looking at the things that they're chasing after and what they truly are, and to count the cost of these. Will this work for you? Okay, now you say you want to be happy as well. Well, what is that? You know, and is working all the time to make this dollar figure, is that going to make you happy? Is this good marriage going to make you happy? Is college going to be your pathway to that? I'm not saying any of these are right or any of these are wrong, but the one thing that I would say is if you got a kid, you set him down and he threw this out at you, what I would want to ask them is, where is God in all of this? You know, and to measure and look at, okay, is college going to be in line with God? Have you prayed? Have you meditated? Have you sought the Lord? Have you sought what He wants you to do with your life? And if college is beneficial to that. If college aids you in doing what God wants you to do with your life, that's a wonderful thing. If God wants you to go to college and be a doctor and to help people, that's great. But my question is, did you ask God about this before you made this decision? Or married, you know, believe me, I'm all for being married, and I'm all for people being married. But I also have to take into account what the Apostle Paul said about, he believes it's better for a man not to be married and to just serve the Lord. But if you burn with passion, then it's better to get married than to be dealing with that temptation and that lust all the time. So, have you asked God, God, do you want me to have a mate? Is that better for me? You know, for the job thing, okay. What do you want me to do for a living, Lord? And how much do I need to make? And why do I need to make this amount? Do you have me doing something? Okay, so I make a lot of money. Maybe you want me to fund other ministries and help other people. You know, if that's the case, if God wants to bless you with a job that makes lots of money, what's He want you to do with the money? Happiness? Well, these two are definitely linked together, because if you are a Christian, you will always be the happiest doing what God wants for your life. So, kind of the point I'm getting to on this, and we're going to have to go into more of these on the inventory, because there's a great depth that we can get to on this. We're going to look at, you know, character traits and what we need in our life and the people we need in our lives, and how to get an understanding of being deliberate with what we fill our life with and our time with, so that it does work with this relationship with God. Because anytime that one of these is in conflict with what God wants for us, we are going to be either robbing from this relationship and not getting out of this what we really should be getting, and none of these others are ever going to work out to its full potential if God isn't the center of it. So what I'm trying to get to is a way that we can approach kids and say, okay, let's look at what you're chasing and see if that actually leads you to where you want to go anyway. Thanks.